JBN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, police monitoring St. John's Road after man killed, others injured. Police personnel from the St. Catherine North Division are keeping watch on 31 St. John's Road, where one man was shot and killed and 3 persons injured Wednesday afternoon. The deceased, 59-year-old Wilfred George O'Connor, was a laborer from the same area. It was reported that about 2:45 p.m. on Wednesday, gunmen invaded the community and opened fire on 4 persons. Rival gunmen have traded fire in recent days, following a man's death, the police have said. The shooting is believed to be in reprisal for the killing of a man on Saturday, September 25. His body was found near a canal in the vicinity of the Spanish Town bypass. The police have revealed that there is growing discontent about that murder. Deputy Superintendent of Police Linroy Edwards, head of operations for St. Catherine North, said that the security forces would seek to prevent further violence. We'll be maintaining vigilance in the area to quell the situation and bring the responsible parties to book, Edwards said. Policeman charged with manslaughter offered $500,000 bail. Police Constable Davian Allen, who is charged with manslaughter, was on Tuesday granted $500,000 bail with 1 to 3 sureties when he appeared before the Kingston and the St. Andrew Parish Court. The case was then set for mention on November 16. Allen was charged as a result of an investigation by the Independent Commission of Investigations and a ruling by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. He's been accused of the fatal shooting of Joseph Brown on March 23, 2017 in the vicinity of Bond Street and Spanish Town Road, Kingston 14. 19-year-old killed in gun attack on North Street, Old Harbour. A young man is dead following a gun attack on North Street, Old Harbour on Sunday morning. He has been identified as Shamar Campbell, 19, of the Avery Housing Scheme, Old Harbour. According to the police, about 2 a.m., Campbell and 4 other persons were coming from a party within the Old Harbour area. While traveling from what was most likely an unsanctioned event, Campbell, who is the driver, drove to North Street to drop off a female member of the crew. However, having got to the friend's home, the vehicle developed mechanical problems. At this point, the occupants exited the vehicle while Campbell tried to figure out the problem with the car. It is during this moment that a lone man walked up to the driver's side and shot Campbell multiple times while his friends ran for their lives. Scene of crime detectives noted several bullet holes along the right side of the white Toyota Axio Campbell was driving, while the rear windshield was shattered as well. Campbell was pronounced dead at the Spanish Town Hospital. The police say there is not enough evidence yet to determine a motive for Campbell's death. Investigations continue. Neighborhood watch alarm as elderly die in fires. Inner Rankin would have turned 100 on December 4, but a mysterious fire on September 22 dashed hopes of a centenary celebration for the elderly woman who died in her home on Old Road in Kitson, St. Catherine. Rankin, who was alone at the time of the fire, could not move independently, which complicated her rescue, mournful residents said. The fire started about 6 p.m., the Guanaboville police reported. The mood in the close-knit rural community was somber as householders and passers-by looked on at the gutted board structure. We attempted to get her, but the front door was locked, David Johnson said. We couldn't go around the back. The fire was blazing like a living hell. This is a wicked death. Imagine that she couldn't help herself. Rankin's fiery demise has triggered a wake-up call for community groups and state organizations to rally around vulnerable Jamaicans who live in at-risk residences. Jean Laurie Chin, founder of Caribbean Community of Retired Persons, expressed concern about the susceptibility of disabled or ailing senior citizens who may find it difficult to quickly respond to a fire. Rankins is not the only such recent death. On August 28, Madge Davis, 75, died in a house fire in Marley Acres, St. Catherine, and on September 8, Angela Green, a 69-year-old market vendor, succumbed to injuries sustained in a blaze at her residence in Cherry District, Kitson Town, a week earlier. Laurie Chin said that state agencies, such as the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, also have a role to play to enhance the security of elderly persons who are among the most vulnerable. The problem is widespread and must be an important item on the country's agenda, Laurie Chin said. I am recommending that the police resuscitate the neighborhood watch and that within that setup, there's a special component which will protect the elderly within the respective community. Meanwhile, Michael Archer of Archer's Funeral Home was disconsolate as he recalled O'Ranking, who once worked at a property in Guanabo Vale, St. Catherine, would give him food as a child. He was remorseful that the 99-year-old missed out on her 100th birthday by less than 3 months. This will never happen, as the house burned in a pure sadness take way. I remember her as a very kind lady, said Archer. WRHA denies claims of falsely declaring deaths COVID-19 related. Dr. Delroy Frey, clinical coordinator for the Western Regional Health Authority, WRHA, says the claim that some persons who die from other causes are being incorrectly labeled as COVID-19 related deaths is not true, and that to do so would not only be unethical but possibly criminal. Responding to complaints by the relatives of some deceased persons who are convinced that their relatives were COVID-19 free at the times of their deaths, Frey said all patients are tested for the virus so that the health authority would have a clear picture of their health status. Everybody who gets admitted gets a COVID test, and for some of them, it is the first time they know they're COVID positive. But you see that thing called denial? We have a lot of problems with publicity in terms of people's denial, Frey said in an interview. Frey said when contact is made with relatives to come and discuss the health status of a patient, they rarely show up. But at the time of death, they are usually the ones showing up to raise all types of concerns. You say, look here, come, the doctor wants to talk to you. And nobody turns up. And every number they leave with us gets called 6 or 7 times, and you can't get them, said Frey. But as soon as the patient dies, it is a different argument, and they formulate all sorts of things. To say a person died from COVID when they did not have COVID is one of the biggest rumors anybody could ever create. If that were to happen, it would not even be an issue of ethics, as the affected persons would have all rights to take legal action. But I know we have never had anything like that happening, he added. Frey's comments run counter to allegations recently made by 2 families who are contending that their relatives were declared as having COVID after their deaths, despite showing no symptoms and initially being admitted for other illnesses. Annette Brown, not her real name, said her 89-year-old grandmother's death in August was ruled as COVID-related despite no proof to show that the senior citizen who lived in Savlamar, Westmoreland, had contracted the virus. My grandmother had underlying issues, including her pressure, and she fell sick in the night and they took her to hospital the same night. I'm not sure what they gave her, but the next morning she felt better, and then that night she died and they said it was COVID. But she did not have any symptoms of COVID, argued Brown. I'm just wondering how they could diagnose my grandmother, who had underlying issues, to say that it was COVID. Up to the point of her death, she was barely moving on her own. So this was more like old age that killed her, and they are saying it was COVID, but it was not COVID, insisted Brown. Diana Patterson, not her real name, is also contending that her 78-year-old stepfather, who recently died at the Onoto Bay Hospital in St. Mary, had COVID-19, as was listed on his death certificate. Papa walked out in the rain and catch a bad flu, and the nurse said him sugar and pressure high, so we came to the hospital, said Patterson. We bring some soup and give it to him and he vomit it back up, but he was strong and hearty otherwise. He died on April 17, and the morning he died, my brother went down there, and they said he was dead from COVID. I went back down there and I asked for the test result, and them said still never come, and they would call and tell me, but Papa never have any COVID, said Patterson. The concerns raised by the 2 families come in the wake of a story in September 22, in which the family of Clarendon resident Joan Robinson, who died at the Maple Hospital on September 7, refuted reports that she died from COVID. According to the relatives, Robinson had tested negative for the virus at a private facility a few hours before she was admitted to the hospital on September 6. They say oxygen deprivation was the cause of her death. If true, the various allegations would cast doubt on the integrity of the statistics provided on COVID-related deaths by the Ministry of Health and Wellness. To date, Jamaica has recorded a total of 83,737 COVID-19 infections and 1,869 deaths. In the meantime, the WRHA clinical coordinator said it is important to recognize that persons may have COVID-19 and be asymptomatic. A lot of people are walking around with COVID and they do not know they have it because they have no symptoms whatsoever. But it is routine now that we test everybody coming into hospital for COVID. That is also why we insist that people wear masks everywhere they are going, said Frey. 251 new COVID-19 cases in Jamaica, 9 additional deaths. Jamaica recorded 251 new COVID-19 cases and 9 deaths on Wednesday. bringing the infection total to 83,737 and the virus death toll to 1,869. The Ministry of Health and Wellness reported that the new cases comprise 141 females and 110 males with ages ranging from 59 days to 91 years. The cases were recorded in St. Catherine, 76, Kingston and St. Andrew, 63, Manchester, 25, St. Thomas, 24, Clarendon, 21, St. James, 13, St. Mary and St. Elizabeth, 7 each, Westmoreland, 6, Trelawney, 5, St. Anne, 2, Portland and Hanover, 1 each. The deceased are an 80-year-old male and a 71-year-old female from St. Elizabeth, a 77-year-old male from Kingston and St. Andrew, a 96-year-old female from St. Elizabeth, a 75-year-old male from St. Anne, a 56-year-old male from Kingston and St. Andrew, an 86-year-old female from St. Elizabeth, a 72-year-old female from Kingston and St. Andrew, and a 70-year-old female from St. Anne. In the meantime, 141 more people recovered in the last 24 hours, bringing total recoveries to 52,817. Currently, 650 people are hospitalized, 87 of which are severely ill, while 37 are critically ill and 145 are moderately ill. There are 28,464 confirmed active COVID-19 cases on the island. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.